Good old jazz.
We're going to be getting started here in just 2 minutes. Hang tight, relax, get a drink of beer, or, something to sip on.
Maybe a little bit of lemonade.
Yeah, there's some whores in this house. That's right. That doesn't sound like it's fake at all, that saxophone.
I see you out there, ladies. Dancing all by yourself. And your third glass of margarita, now you feeling good.
That's right.
Well, I guess we could see Stella got her groove back. Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to be one of those people who like talk over jazz beats. It's a goal for my life.
You gotta have stuff to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be reading it.
I think those people have like a gift, kind of like Al Sharpton.
No, you just put stuff in front of them and they'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
So they always have something they're probably talking about.
Like smooth jazz. Liquid jazz. Jazz that flows all through your veins.
All right, gonna get started here in just about a minute. Can you make that thing bigger on the screen there in front of me? Yeah. Good. Yeah, why not? All right.
This is definitely Dillard's worthy. Oh, you kind of went on beat there. Oh, he still got that go. You're repping.
All right, we're getting there.
15 seconds.
Oh, man, I was about to go on my solo. Hey.
2, 1. This week on the program, there's a lot to say about this crazy thing called COVID-19. One thing I wouldn't say or call it is a hoax. We will have a chat with someone who thinks it is. Later, Biden picks his VP and B. Shap raps a sick remix. That's right. This is Emergency Exit.
This exit is for emergencies only.
That's right. This is episode 168. Today is August 12th, 2020. It's again 10 on 10 in our floating tin can. Far above the world.
You went. I was trying to go up with you. I couldn't do it.
That's all right. One day you'll get it.
I was trying to get on my Tina Turner. You feel me? On my Whitney Houston.
Maybe we should practice it.
I got to smoke a little bit of crack for that, I guess.
That's right. Well, you guys are watching us once again, your libertarian talk show for fun.
And we were talking about this earlier this week. We were saying the number one multi-ethnic, racially
It's true.
mixed libertarian podcast in Austin, Texas, let's just say. So we're number one at something. Let's get that straight.
That's right. Well, I'm Los. You can follow me on Twitter at That's Right Los. Join me as always.
Oh, sorry, you sound like Caitlyn Jenner now.
Yeah, baby. Is David, the holiest Spanish Aguilar. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Making sure we're streaming live and making sure we'll have a Hangouts call that goes smooth today is Brandon the Hard Hat. That's right.
Hey, what's up? I got plates spinning over here, but we're good, man. We're good.
Yeah, 7 plate spinning is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Is everything going over there?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's great.
We got to get through a brew world order before we have a guest calling us. So let's go ahead and get straight to that brew world order.
It's the brew world.
Right behind you, Brandon. We've got Ruby Redbird by Shiner. That's right. It's on the Shiner Brewery in Shiner, Texas. Spotzel Brewery. Anyways, you guys if you've lived in Texas, you've probably had this.
And if you have not had it, shame on you. You need to drink
It's
this.
a year-round beer. It's not like a I think we did the Shiner Cheer. We've done some Shiners. We may have a Shiner bracket in our...
we had a Shiner Strawberry on here also.
Shiner Strawberry. So we're building up
delicious.
our Shiner for the Brew World
The
Order.
roster. The Shiner roster.
Brew World Order tournament of beers.
Is it going to be a 24-hour thing? Are we going to get fucking, like, smashed in 24 hours
No,
drinking
no,
100 beers?
We got to figure it out. We still have to figure it out.
I'm cool with that if we
It
do
may
it.
be like 2 a week, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, this Ruby Redbird, give me a little bit of music for this Ruby Redbird read here, Brandon.
What?
A little bit of music for this Ruby Redbird read.
Ooh, there it is.
Yes. Popping the top on this brew is like slicing into a ripe Texas
Slice.
Ruby Red grapefruit. A bold kick of ginger combines with the
Kicking your
citrus
ass.
for a tart, refreshing lager that's perfect any time of year. In the year.
In the year.
I like how you have your cap stuck to your forehead.
I do. I'm Indian today.
All right,
I
thank you, Brandon,
decided.
with the music.
I feel like
All right.
culturally appropriating something.
This is first brewed in 2018. ABV of 4%. Calories 95. They have to throw that on there. 95. Keeping it low.
Mm-hmm.
Carbs 3.1. Hey, this is this is a good alternative to like
Michelob.
White Claw. Or
Oh yeah,
something.
White Claw. Yeah, yeah.
All right, no more music, thank you. All right,
yeah,
let's
this
crack it
this
open.
this is the kind of beer that you have on the poolside by the lake. You know what I mean? Cheers.
Yeah. I love grapefruit in my beer and my
Oh yeah.
and make sure it's in our new koozies.
Agreed.
Holler at us for a koozie if you like. But yes,
We know a guy who knows a guy.
tell me some more about this beer and why you like it so much.
To me, if somebody were to ask me if I could describe this beer,
Yeah.
I would say this beer is Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's beautiful, great appearance, makes you laugh. You know what I mean? Cuddles you for the night, and you have a happy ending.
Great play-by-play on that. Brandon, what do you think about this beer? He's taking a sip. He's taking a good look at it.
Oh, I don't share David's his descriptive words. I wouldn't use the same ones, but man, that's good.
It's really good.
That's good. That's good. Like sitting in the backyard under the sprinkler. Good.
Oh yeah,
know
that's
what I
good
mean?
too. Mm-hmm.
David, what did you rate it?
Well, he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, he hasn't done it yet.
I'm
Okay,
gonna give
never mind,
this.
never
I'm
mind.
gonna give this a solid 4.
Oh,
It's
solid
a good,
four.
solid
Okay.
4.
See, I was
Okay.
trying to do a strategic move because I thought you had already said it and I
Oh.
missed it, so I was going to write it
Damn
down. But it's all good. So you're saying a 4.
Yeah, solid 4.
I'm going to...
He's taking another sip there.
4.05.
Oh, okay. It's the
Yeah.
drinkability.
It's only
yeah.
95 calories.
Exactly.
That's it.
Stay in shape, feeling great.
Yep.
It's pretty good. It's got a nice flavor to it. Really fresh tasting. The ginger comes out. The citrus is there. It's delicious. I
These
think
are
it's very-
fresh grapefruits that they put in this.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah, fresh frozen. Fresh from being frozen. I'm going to give this a probably good solid. 4.1.
Damn,
That's
there you
right.
go, Shiner.
All right.
You son of a gun.
That's the Brew World Order.
You did it again.
It's the Brew World So
Feel it.
we're about to have somebody on that was previously on our show. He's going
Ooh.
to call in a few minutes, but I thought we can preface everything that we're about to hear because may rile some of y'all up. Now, I don't subscribe to what he said in the past with Flat Earth.
Okay.
Excuse me. Burpability on this beer is really high up.
It is a very, yeah.
He came on, talked about Flat Earth, and it's like any other Flat Earth
Mhm.
thing. You know, we've made fun of it. We can dispute the facts back and forth. They've always got an answer for everything, and I'm sure we're gonna get that today with Brian again. It's not that he's bad. He's not a bad guest. He's gonna be courteous. He's gonna be nice, and we're gonna ask him some good questions.
Hell
and
yeah.
Be sure to be curious, because
I'm sure him and I will agree on some stuff.
we'll absolutely probably agree on a lot of things.
Yeah, we seem like we're both kind of crazy. I think.
Conspiracy theorists make a lot of sense.
We do.
sometimes.
We really do. It's
You
kind
do.
of, you know.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
You think?
Yeah. Well, you are.
You know, I like to, I would like to call myself a theorist.
A theorist.
of the conspiracious sorts.
Theologist, theist.
Yes, there you
Theist,
go.
theologist.
Theothesis.
Theosis.
Theothesis.
But yeah, he's going to talk about. I tried watching some of his videos too. So I guess he had a bunch of videos that were taken down,
Oh no, really?
and then he's got videos where he just does streams. And
Like video games?
no, he's got his radio show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like an actual radio. It's like ours is a radio show.
Okay, yeah.
People can subscribe to it and everything. We're just waiting for him to come on here, and
Hey.
oh, there he is. So let me pull up my notes here because it's the first time
Hey,
we're
Brian, can you hear us?
meeting face to face. Not too shabby.
You sound like an angel that's just falling from the sky with a harp. Well, I'm sure. I believe it. I believe it. You sound like David Lee Roth.
So, anyways, let me introduce what we have here. So we got a great, wonderful guest that's back. He was back on with us with it was Flat Earth 3.0. I forget what episode that was.
I think it was 66.
60.
Ah.
Oh, how about that?
Dang, look at that.
That's
That's good
Isn't
Will
it-
Hunting right there.
could have been 33, but it was 66.
Mhm.
And I was telling everybody that for the longest time.
They're like, man, I never found those guys.
Let's see. He graced us on the show with his knowledge of flat Earth.
Mm.
I'm still not convinced that it's flat. Maybe we'll talk about that maybe later. But you're back to tell us that COVID is a hoax.
Uh-oh.
Brian Staveley. That's right. That's how we say it, right?
People can't hear me. People can't hear me, they said.
Oh, man.
Those damn people.
Good. We'll wait for a second until we get this back up. He does this sometimes, and we're trying to get that going.
I need y'all to
Now
talk.
the-
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
live.
I
We're
said-
sitting here like
You
we're
know,
live.
it's funny, yeah. So,
Sorry, we're live on Channel 10 here. So, anyways, he's the creator of The Real News Online and the Dose of Reality radio show on YouTube.
Ooh.
Anti-masker, COVID hoaxer, flat earther, my God.
Anti-masker.
Welcome back to the
COVID
show, man.
hoaxer.
Hey, thank you for having me back.
This is the first time we're seeing
Appreciate it.
face-to-face. We only had you over the telephone, I think, last time, or just through Skype without a webcam. Or maybe we weren't able to. We just didn't have the technology to be able to put you on the screen with us back then. We just didn't know how to do it just yet.
There's a lot has happened since COVID.
Yeah, how are you doing to COVID during COVID? Did you lose your job? Did you get furloughed?
No, but I was working in a restaurant. I had already been out of work for several weeks before it happened anyways. But once it hit and I started to see where it was going, I knew I was never going back there. So there's no way. I was working in a restaurant. There's no way you're working in a restaurant now and not wearing a mask and doing all sorts of things I'm not down with doing. So right now I'm not working, actually.
Do you go out and about, and are you one of those that refuse to absolutely wear a mask?
I 100% refuse to wear a mask anywhere I go.
Okay, all right, take it easy. All right.
Hey.
So that
Take
probably,
it easy.
that probably takes you makes it difficult for you to go places if you want to go anywhere, right?
It doesn't make it as difficult as people would think. I'm not going to say it's been easy, and it's been getting a little harder lately. But just to tell you right off the bat, the first place people assume you would have to absolutely wear a mask no matter what would be getting on an airplane. And I've taken 11 flights in the last 3 months, and I haven't worn a mask once.
Were you like pretending to wear a
Gangsta.
mask, or and then take it off, or how did you make
Nope.
that happen?
I don't even own a mask, and I just be confident, and I am polite to the people, unlike the way they try to portray people that don't wear masks, like they're loud and they want to just be confrontational, argue with people. It's my right to not wear a mask. I don't see any health benefit in it at all. Actually, when we get into it more, it's more hazardous for your health the way I see it, and I don't need to wear one. And I know it's not the person's fault that's working the counter. I know their policies are handed down to them, so I do not take it out on them. And I've been positive. And the first 8 or 9 flights, I didn't say a word. I heard they were clamping down a little more the last couple of flights I took. So I did walk up to the people that scan your boarding pass ahead of time, and I let them know. And I just told them I can't wear a mask. One guy wrote it on a cocktail napkin. That's how official this is. And the second person, they did ask if I had a medical issue. And I said, yes, I did. I have a respiratory issue. And then that was that.
And so, yeah, I guess we were showing articles about people in their ADA issued mask
yeah.
exempt card. And yeah,
Yes.
for any point, you can say you have that you have a condition, and they can't ask you what that is, like through the law. So
Yeah, but now we've seen how they've usurped the law. Like, it doesn't matter what the law says anymore because it just does it fit the narrative. If it fits the narrative, then we'll make sure that when we push it to the news, our narrative is placed out front.
yeah, hey, what city do you live in, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm from near Boston. I moved to North Carolina like a month ago, but I'm in California right now. I've been spending a lot of time here in the last few months. So right now I'm in
California. Oh, I'm from California originally. Sorry, everyone from Texas. I was one of the good ones though, 10 years ago.
Hey, bro,
Yeah,
we still love you. You gotta give me a little,
a little bit. Okay.
dinky. There you go. It's okay. I don't have COVID.
So tell me, what's going on? What's with this COVID thing? Is it a hoax? You're telling me, is it fake? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's an absolute hoax, and I'm not saying there isn't a coronavirus. Coronavirus is something that exists in people's bodies. It's a way that your cells repair themselves. It's not a pandemic, so there is no COVID-19. There is a coronavirus. There is no COVID-19, and all that's going on is what's been going on every year. Just people with the flu. You have old people that die because they're old. They get mislabeled as COVID-19 deaths. And if there was really a pandemic, you guys would all have friends that'd be dead right now. You guys wouldn't be able to go to Walmart or McDonald's, even with the so-called social distancing restrictions and all that. They would cut all that off. There is no pandemic. When this thing first started, like in March, when it really started getting rolling over here in the U.S., the first week that they started closing down the doctor's offices and whatnot, I had a doctor's appointment. I was one of the last ones they saw. Just by talking to the doctors, you can tell by how indoctrinated they are. They're just waiting for the calm before the storm. So I'm like, so you don't have any patience? What do you do all day? Oh, I just wait and wait, for when the overflow comes. Oh, they don't want us to use all the equipment, so we can't have patients. I had an elective surgery that got put off because of that. And you really got to see how corrupted the thing was. And I went to many hospitals, especially ones that were claimed to be overflowing with people, like in Los Angeles. My friend did the same in Toronto. And there's nothing going on. I mean, he went through the entire hospital in a few cases. There is no pandemic. It's all fear porn from the media.
I agree.
And people are actually dying from it. You're not. Are you concerned about that at all?
Who's actually dying from it? You know somebody?
Well, I do. I know someone who's gotten it. As for people who died, I haven't.
So
I don't think I know anyone that's died from it.
My wife's grandma passed away. So I'm with you, right? So with me, so when my wife found out that her grandma had it, and she was in a nursing home, she got it in the nursing home. And when they found out she got it, I was like, "Are they going to put her on a machine?" She said yes, and that's when I kind of knew, like, oh, she doesn't have long, And when they told her that it was going to be counted as a COVID death, I low key got pissed because I'm like, look, she has Alzheimer's. She was struggling from all these other underlying issues. Like, we were seeing her decay the last few months. And for you to label that a COVID death, I think it's wrong because you're just lumping her into your statistic. You know what I mean? That's where, but I didn't say that to anybody. That was something I kept to myself, and I let them mourn the way they mourn. But in my mind, I'm like, no, she has Alzheimer's. She's been doing all these things. Like, we've seen her throughout the last months and the last year's decay, and you cannot say this is the reason she died. There's many other reasons. And it pisses me off when they continue to say that in the news when there's multiple reasons people are dying and it isn't because of this COVID-19 thing.
You're
exactly.
right.
Preach on, brother.
Yeah,
and again,
at church.
And I'm sorry about your grandmother. And my grandmother is on her last days. She's on the morphine and everything. And I know that when she goes, they're going to probably label her COVID. And I even told my cousin that, who's very asleep to these types of things. He believes everything the government and the news says. And he doesn't want to ever talk about these things. And now I don't live with him anymore. And I said to him, I said, you know that they're going to label it COVID. He said, she could get hit by a car and they would label it COVID.
Exactly.
In fact, the respirators that they put them on, the hospitals are getting $37,500 each person they put on it. And they're getting $13,000 and change for each person that gets labeled a COVID death.
100%.
And they're told that the what do you call the morticians and everything, they're told to label it COVID until proven otherwise. Well, it's never proven otherwise.
Yep.
Well, okay. But who's going to? I mean, what's the end goal of this? Of making this this COVID bullshit going on here. So what's the end result? They're shutting everybody down. The
Across the
economy's going
economy.
So what's the main goal?
I don't really know, I mean, we're trying to figure this out as it happens. Obviously to make people very compliant to just do anything they want. You had people standing on lines outside Trader Joe's 6 feet apart with their hands behind the basket with a mask over their face. They could go across the street to another grocery store and just walk right in, but they love doing this. They love being compliant. They have people in a permanent state of fear, that just like when I talked to you guys about 9/11 before, it's 20 years later, here we are 19 years later, and they need this other huge fear thing,
Mhm.
the whole world in fear. And now they have everybody fearing each other. They're trying to break the human connection. They've always been trying to break the family.
Yep.
Now they have people, they're telling us, the Canadian CDC, the Canadians version of the CDC literally told people to have sex with their partner, to do it through a glory hole. They're just mocking people,
Mhm.
and they're really just emotionally
What?
beating people down. And then of course, there's a lot of other agendas. If you want to get into money and politics and all that, obviously they're burying the small businesses. Then they can come in because they own all the banks. They can buy up all the land. They can force people to eat all shitty food because everybody's forced to go to fast food and all these things. And I know other people will talk about, oh, they want to force you to get a vaccine and they're going to chip you and all this. I don't talk like that. I believe everything is done by consent. I do believe that because of people are in this false state of fear because of this fake pandemic, they'll be lining up to go get a vaccine, but they won't be forced to, but they will be enticed to. So there's a lot of agendas. I don't like to make predictions, and I do like to keep it positive, but it's very sad to see. I mean, I don't know. I know some people might think, oh, the people that don't wear a mask are out of line. That's because you guys see viral videos that go around, people with bullhorns and stupid shit. We just go out and try to live our lives, and we try to talk to people politely and not be confrontational with people. And sometimes, yeah, you do get upset. You see people out there putting masks on 4-year-old kids at the beach, and what's going to go on at the schools when they start in this September is disgusting, and it needs to stop. Nobody's sick. Nobody's dying. Where are all the young people? You talked about your grandmother. I talked about mine. Why isn't it your cousin, my cousin, your little sister, my little brother?
I
Because
agree.
it's only old people that are already going out.
See, and then we're even talking about that also, about how going back to school should be, all right, fuck the old teachers, let them get the fuck out, do what you got to do, get the young ones in, let them teach. But no, because the unions want to keep them in. It's all about the damn unions. It's with the teachers, it's with the cops, it's with everything that's fucking everything up. It's allowing people to govern people without having any actual ethical standard. And that's what we started messing up in America. We started justifying ethics through science. And I hate it because every time I get in debates, people say, "Oh, well, are you a science denier?" I'm like, "No, I believe in science. I love science. Like, I own an iPhone, right? Like, I drink beer. All these things have to do with science. Like, you're an idiot to think that I'm anti-science. I love science. But for someone to say, if you believe in religion, you do not believe in science, or vice versa, that person is an idiot. That person is stupid. How can you not believe in both? I'm sorry that your brain is small enough that you cannot cohesively live in an earth that comes with science and God, but just because you're dumb doesn't mean I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happens so much. People want to say science is this, God is this, and they do not coincide. I'm like, yeah, they do, dummy. And we had the conversation of, you have Steve Jobs and you have the Mac computer. You have a creator and you have the object. For people to want to pin these two is to break down not just ethics, but it's also society. It's also the home. It's parenting. It's all these things. It's bringing down society. And you saw this in the early Egyptians. You see this in the Greco-Roman times. You see this throughout history. And the only way that you understand what's going to happen to America is when you study the history of the past. And that's the only way.
Well, what do you think about this guy? David is all about it today. I told him he'd want to participate in this today.
Yeah, man. I like it.
So, what do we need to do to stop this? Who do we need to convince and make this happen?
We need to not comply, because I know that you're not sick. I know that he's not sick. The other guy that I can't see on camera, I know there's a few of you. I know he's not sick. I'm not sick. The person I'm in this house with isn't sick. We shouldn't be putting a mask on and complying. And I won't say there's never an exception. Like, I won't do it, but like, if say your family member's sick and you have to fly across the country and but you have to try. But let's say you absolutely can't get on. I'm not going to say, hey, you're a piece of crap pussy because you put a mask on to go see your family. But If you're going to go in a store, because there's a Walmart health ambassador, they call themselves now, these people that stand at the doors. And I know Walmart's come back a little bit on it, but these other stores, if you're going to go in a store and just because people are going in there, like Trader Joe's, for instance, we go in there with no mask. We come out, and as we're coming out, you see people get out of their car. They're walking outside without a mask, but then they just go and put it on. That shows that they're really not even about fear. That's about compliance at this point. And if we all just keep from complying, it'll never go away. And it's disgusting, man. Why should we cover up our smile? I go out to eat now, and it's like I got friggin' Darth Vader serving me food. That's not a good experience.
See, dude, and I agree with that because, like, I understand. I may look intimidated to people. I have tattoos. I'm Mexican. I got gauges, and I know how the media portrays the way that I look and my people look. And I know at times it could seem like, oh, I don't look that much better with a fucking mask on. You know what I mean? And I'm a big smiler. I'm someone who I love to smile at people, talk to people. So the fact that I don't get that, it's weird for me. Because that's the only way I get to communicate half of the time and letting white people know, hey, I'm not going to stab you. Like, I'm good.
Well, besides all that, we've talked about Dr. Fauci.
Uh-oh.
Dr. Fauci.
Fauci.
You guys, this is Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci here. I lied to you guys on purpose because we had a paucity of masks and we wanted to lie to you guys on purpose.
You take the mask and then you put it in your ass, okay?
You go ahead, use fabric. It's okay. I'm Dr. Fauci.
But you use it through the glory hole. You got to use it through the glory hole.
We talked to about it, how he lied on purpose so that we wouldn't buy up all the masks. But then gaslights us by saying shit like, well, I said that because of this and that. Does that not bring any concern to anybody? Like, a scientist admittedly lied to keep masks away from people when he could have said from the very beginning, you could use a bandana. And then he also goes on to say that it's just like a safety thing. Putting it on for people around you is for them to feel safe because everybody's a fucking pussy out there.
It's courteous.
A fucking P word, as B. Shap would say it.
All right, you don't want to. You got to keep it PG for the kids.
You know, I have to wear a mask at work. I mean, here in Austin, we have mandates. They're like, if someone at your work is caught without wearing a mask, your company gets charged like $2,000 per offense. Wow. So we have one guy that has to go around and like rat on everybody, you know. So I'm not about to lose my job over not wearing a mask. I have to wear a mask going to the grocery store, anywhere, and I just make sure to keep something on me.
You don't have to. You don't have to wear it growing in the grocery store. You just tell them I don't wear it. You just stand up to them. What are they going to do?
Why would I want the confrontation?
Because what do you think that the mask is saving you, and do you like covering up your smile? So why would you cover up your smile?
I personally hate it, man. I fucking hate it. But it's
stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Don't let the grocery boy tell you your work's something.
Well, no one's telling me anything.
I did quit my job, and I'm not going to come down on other people that don't because of the mask. But the grocery store, Walgreens, Walmart, no, don't wear the mask, man. Tell them no, I'm not wearing it. I'm not sick. Say I'm not sick, or say I can't wear it, and they leave you alone. 9 out of 10 times, I'd say 19 out of 20 times they leave you alone.
I just don't want that 20th time to get me, you know.
Fuck those people.
Luckily, I don't. I mean, luckily, I work from home, and I was telling Los earlier, like my wife gets all our HEB stuff delivered, so we never really have to go out to any of those places. And the only place I actually go out to is the gym, and I usually just wear it like under my neck. You know, and I even told the guy in the front, I was like, you know, I get very claustrophobic, and because they want you to wear it while you're running and you're on the fucking Stairmaster. You want me to breathe? And like I try to do that, and I'm like drenched in sweat. I'm like, yeah, this works for somebody who's like on their phone 90% of the time and not working out. But I fucking work out, and I'm drenched in sweat, and I'm like, all I'm breathing in is sweat. Are you kidding me? You know? So I even told the guy, like, look, I could put it over my mouth, but I'm not covering my nose, like, you know, this and that. He was like, oh, and he was, again, I'm the same way. I don't get mad at the person in the front. I don't get mad at I'm like, yeah, you're just doing your job. I understand you. I'm going to explain to you. But yeah, you know, luckily I don't have to interact with that much. But I don't, you know, I feel for you, dude, because I'm pretty sure you get more frustrated, and it's just, especially when you know, yeah, there is no health benefit to this. This isn't making anything better, you know.
And until until the scientists come out there, and
because I'm pretty sure you.
the scientists come out there and say, listen, here's the word, blah, blah, blah. That's the only time that these liberal cities and Austin are going to lift these mask things. It may not go away for a while.
Yeah.
Even after a vaccine comes out.
Yeah, but it's just gonna be like the flu. It's gonna be one vaccine, but you're gonna need the next one and the next one and the next one. And man, they're just trying to fuck you up.
Did you
That's
call it
it.
a fagzine?
Look.
A fagzine?
Look, man.
It turns you into a gay?
Look, I didn't, but I like it, so I'm gonna take it. All right, I didn't say it, but I'm gonna take credit for that then.
Let's read some comments here. I think we've got some comments here.
Oh,
Austin says, you guys sound so smart with all your facts and big words.
yes.
I think it's being sarcastic there. Austin, bless you. R.I.P. Texas. Thanks. Yep, R.I.P. Texas. Might as well move away. You're going to regurgitate Alex Jones. Just go work for him.
Look, I've tried to go work for Alex Jones. Okay, if it was that easy, I would have done it already. So please, Austin, if you know how, let me know, because Alex Jones is my homeboy all day. Bro, Brain Force, first of all, Brain Force, let's get, bro, see this shit? Bro, don't even get me started on that Brain Force, bro. Every day, pop that open, hit a little quickie, Brain Force get you going.
Frogs are gay. Frogs are gay. Frogs are gay. Frogs are gay.
But anyways, look, see, this guy already got me on my Alex Jones, bro. I'm about to rip my shirt off, and I ain't gonna do that because, you know, I'm married and all.
I'm hesitant about Alex Jones. I like that he's done a lot of good things, but he does embellish a lot of his stories. But the stories come from a lot of fact. He's just a little out there, and
Yeah,
people
he's
I
just
don't
crazy.
think understand that. I'm sure Austin here in our chat is probably watched full episodes of his show and get his context, or for him to say, you know, regurgitate Alex Jones stuff. I mean, he's just reciting the news, and then he's got his own little Alex Jones spin to things.
Well, he's regurgitating the people who are saying just be another Alex Jones. Like, it's not like Austin here has a actual thought that he actually came up with for himself. I doubt that.
Well, it's because he was wrong on Sandy Hook, and he's gone back and said, "Listen."
But he
I
never
was
said
wrong."
anything about Sandy Hook.
Yeah, he said it was
No,
a
he
hoax.
didn't.
Yes, he
Show
did.
me the episode that he did.
Brian, you're a Sandy hoaxer, right?
Yeah, Sandy Hook was a complete hoax. Alex Jones, what happened is Alex Jones did go back on it. He said it was a hoax, and then he ended up acting like he was
Yeah.
just mental. The reason he said it was a hoax, and to make
he went
everybody
off
look
on
bad.
it and said, "Hey, I didn't mean that, this and that." And he was like, "The internet told me to look into it, and I did. And so I looked into it, and I thought that the internet was right, and I was wrong." And he admits it, right? And it's like, okay, so he admits that, but fucking exposing Bush and all this shit that's going on, talking about pedophilia, talking about Epstein, talking about all these things before anybody else
He
did.
was talking
Or you're
about
gonna
it,
ignore that,
They do tend to. I've been asking you to go ahead and pull yourself together.
bro? I would need
an
to.
Alex Jones is right kind of compilation.
I need to.
Because he's been talking about Epstein's Island for for a very long time, but everyone's like, oh no, he's Alex Jones, and discredit him and sort of take it away. The whole frogs is gay thing comes from an actual story. I mean, him saying frogs are gay is little hyperbole.
Yeah.
But the point is there. But then he also says, "Here's my filter." You know, here's the filter.
But then he
Get
also
rid of
goes
the-
on Joe Rogan and says, "All right, listen, Joe. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little retarded."
He does say like he's retarded. That's good though. You know,
He's
I'm,
honest.
I'm dumb and slow personally.
Same.
Let's see. Aaron Keith says, "I love Brian Staveley. He loves you, man. You got yourself a nice follower."
He said he's gonna message you some DPs.
We got
Nice.
we got like 5 new subscribers all at the same time. I wondered if they were all you, but they were all different profiles that you have on YouTube. Brian.
Well, you got like 100. You got like 120 people in your YouTube chat right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, snap.
Thank you, YouTube.
120 people.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow.
well, what's up, YouTubers?
What's up? So, geez, you were on about flat Earth at
Yeah,
one point.
flat Earth. So yeah, what do you think about this whole Epstein? I don't know if you've even dived into that, but
I actually paid no attention to it because it smelled like they wanted to make it a political angle, and just I don't know. I just paid no attention to the Epstein thing at all. Honestly, I don't really have that much of an opinion. on it.
so I know
Yeah,
I know you were saying earlier about
You guys
like,
are talking about Alex. You guys are talking about Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. Those guys are two of the worst gatekeepers, man. You guys will get past that though.
no,
Those guys-
They hold the keys to some gates or what?
And don't get me wrong. I talk about them. It's not like I take these guys for like any truth. You
I
know,
know.
I'm someone who I like. You know, I take in, especially someone like Alex Jones. You know, he's someone that you have to really decipher and like take in like the 2% of anything that he could be saying that's good, and then filter out the rest. He's kind of just
Yeah.
like my little dose of like acid in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch him at all. He's probably a good guy. I don't like the intensity of his
I love his intensity.
presentation of the news personally. But we talked about flat Earth last time, and
Yep.
I wanted to sort of bring you back for a moment. Maybe we can go back to COVID in a second here.
Sure.
And of course, you guys want to give us a call. The number is down there, 830-875-0637 if you want to talk and ask Brian a question. But the South Star, Sigma Octantis,
Yeah.
you guys
Sure.
figured that one out yet? What's going on?
Well, you brought this up last time, and I said I'd have to see footage of that. Can you show me footage of Sigma Octantis yet, and not just the southern stars going around a point, an actual star due south?
But yeah, it happens. So
Tell
you
me.
know how people take pictures of the North Star? They do the same thing of the South Star, and it goes in a circle. So you don't have to see the actual Sigma Octantis. You can just see the stars going around in a circle.
That's a lot different than claiming there's a southern pole star. You just can't see it, but it's there. We're just going to assume it's there because there's other stars circling. I don't know about
Well,
that.
it's not revolving around that star. That star is just the closest to the middle. It's also the Southern Cross is pretty close to it, which is the stars that are on the Australian map. Or
Really?
the Australian flag. It's got the Southern Cross, which is in that area. I'm just saying that's just taking a long exposure photo of the pointing due south. The stars will revolve in a circle, just like they do in the north side. So, is that not enough proof to say that we're on a globular Earth?
No, it's not actually, because well, look, first of all, like I said, you don't see this southern star Sigma Octantis anyway. Secondly, even if you did, we don't know what the stars are. We don't know how they operate. How about the Earth that you're standing on? Have you found this curvature yet that they speak of? I mean, that should be a lot easier to find than standing up to the stars.
So the other weird thing about the flat Earth is, and I'm not saying I believe in it, and I'm not saying I don't. All I'm saying is, when you understand how even around Earth is somewhat of a newer theory than a flat Earth is, and then again, let me just preface this, not that I believe this, but when you see the rise of science throughout the centuries and how the round Earth was one of those things that was kind of governed by this whole thing called science and what it's led to, it seems like that may have been a beginning of a foothold of this thing of of God and religion. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? That's what it looks like. Because the idea of a flat Earth actually is a longer idea than a round Earth.
Right.
Come on, man. You guys know that if you went off what you've experienced in your life and you didn't go off information that was given to you by authorities, you would never come to the conclusion that the Earth was moving or a ball. Ever. Everybody knows that. And how can anybody deny that? I mean, what have you seen that you would conclude the Earth's a ball, other than what you've propagandized with from school, NASA, TV, everything else?
But then the
South Star. What I just told you, it doesn't have to be the South Star in particular, but the idea that the stars revolve around where the South Star would be, but it revolves to a point.
Listen to what you're saying, though. It doesn't have the South Star, but it doesn't have to be the South Star in particular. But around where it would be if they were rotating, you're like, it's really reaching, and it's not even there.
No.
Even
Okay, hold up a second. Okay. When you take a long exposure photo of your camera facing south for a couple hours, few hours, let's go few hours, and the stars will be rotating in a circle.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? Why does the South Star need to be important? Just pointing your camera
What are we
south,
talking about?
it revolves around that center star.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the stars. If you do want to get into the stars, so you see the stars, how they go in a circle in one direction, and at the other pole, or whatever you want to call it, they go in another direction?
Yes.
Okay, so how do we see the same stars every year if the Earth's going millions of miles. If it's going spinning 1,000 miles an hour, it's going 66,000 miles an hour around the sun. It's going millions of miles an hour dotting through the galaxy. And all these stars aren't even in our same damn galaxy, but we see them every year. It's because they return it because they're going around us in a circle right above our head, man.
It's all
We're not making
relativity, man. Don't you know about relativity though? Like what
sounds
you say
when they show
these videos of the moon revolving around the sun, or I mean the Earth and the Earth around the sun, they do these things where it's like so fast, like, oh, the sun is going this fast, and then all the stars or the planets are going with it, and they're going this fast, 1,000 miles an hour, blah blah blah. I mean, you realize that it's going 1,000 miles an hour, but that's one day. 1 day for our rotation. So talking about 1,000 miles an hour is just basically relatively zero for us.
We got four completely different motions that a lot of those stars are independent from, but they return every year. Come on, man.
They
Think
don't
about
return. They're traveling with us, and we're going around a star called
Really?
the sun, and they're traveling with us. We're all going.
I have seen that.
We're all still expanding outwards and about. And seeing it year by year by year, I mean, the stars do change year by year by year, eventually to the point where the North Star will be a different North Star in X amount of years.
Yeah, you can read that it's Thuban. Have you ever observed that? Have you ever observed any of these changes?
Well,
Kind of like observing this. You haven't observed the southern star. You haven't observed the curvature yet. You are so sure these things exist.
Dude, that Flat Earth movie on Netflix.
Screw that movie. That's disinformation. That's a
disinformation. That's a bunch of y'all guys proving there was a curvature.
Hold on. You ever heard of editing? You ever heard of pre-recorded things that edited and they're taken out of context? Come on, man.
They did that experiment with the laser.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Joe Biden over here. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Good job, Brandon.
See, but with so I'm liking both ends, right? Because I think experience is a good teacher, but it isn't the only teacher, right? So just because, right, what you said earlier, if we were never taught that we were living in a round Earth, we would never come to the conclusion that we were living on one because we're living on flat land. 100% agree. But again, if you were to take a microscopic person and put them on a round ball, they probably wouldn't know that it was flat because they're walking and they're used to it, right? So for me, that's kind of a hard argument because we don't know anything different, right? Because we're born where we are now, we only know this, so it's kind of hard to describe it because we are even finite beings with limited knowledge. So we really can't even explain what we mean by flat and by round, right? Because what one person may be saying flat and because I was saying to this about my wife at some other time, and she was saying, but the Earth can't be flat, and I'm like, well, you think flat is just this real flat thing, but what if it was more like this curvature? And when I started explaining to her kind of theories that I've heard of the flat Earth that I thought made sense to me, and I explained it to her, she was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I'm like, well, yeah, but I think people just get lost in the terminology of flat Earth. And because and I think you're 100% right in saying because we've been taught we live in a round atmosphere, therefore everything else is. And I'm in the same way. I'm like, look, it's hard for you. And I used to have a friend who was a geologist, and she would tell me all these things. And I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to take your science because your science is only off of someone else's science. And which is off of someone else's. Who fact check the fact checkers? And to me, there has to come to a point where I gotta say, hey, I gotta believe in something, right? I can question all day long, but if all I do is question, then I'm never coming to an end to the truth. So I have to pick and choose a side. You know what I mean? Despite all the little debating and all the little things I like to do, I have to pick a side on that. You know what I mean? I think that's what I always have to come down to is whatever I feel about it, I have to come down to a side whether I like it or not.
Hey, we flew
I'm sorry,
up
20
to...
when you talked about maybe it's a lot bigger and we're just a little speck on the ball. Well, they're still lying to us. And why are they lying? Because they give us dimensions of the ball. And at the dimensions they give us, it's not about you being a little speck and you just can't see the curvature because we see hundreds of miles past what we should be able to see. So they're lying about the layout.
And so the only reason I say I would agree with you on they lie about the measurements. I don't think they lie about it. And again, I do think they lie about it, but this is the metaphorical world that we're bidding. I think the only reason we lie about it is because we do not fully understand what measurements are. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what a real measurement. We don't know really what a light year is. We can theorize about it, but we really don't know. So I feel like a lot of things that we've built our science off of is more theory than it is fact.
I don't believe in light years either. I think that's a joke. You know?
Well, somebody came up with it that wasn't the government, and it was a scientist. I mean, you believe in science, right?
I believe in real science. I don't believe in claims that can't be proven.
Yeah, same.
But things
And
can,
if there's claims made that go completely against what I observe and experience, I'm going to default forever now to what I observe and experience till proven otherwise.
Okay.
okay, but how would you explain the phenomenon of taking a long exposure photo in the south and it doing the same thing as the north? Why does it do that? Have you saying you've not seen it before?
You keep asking me the same question. I've seen the southern stars rotate the other direction, but that doesn't prove anything to me.
But why would they spin that way if we had a firmament above us or whatever you believe are the stars?
Don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean that sort of tells me it's a globe.
That tells you the globe, but the fact that you can't measure any curvature anywhere, no profession in the world adjusts for curvature, even pilots or land surveyors. But just because you see stars rotating one direction in the sky, you live on a globe.
You just don't accept the answers that are out there already, Brian. I mean, the whole thing where you can stand on the beach of this place and then see the city that way, and they tell us it's like refraction of light. I mean that's the answer for it. Why we can see it like we can, and we shouldn't be able to see that much. Is that not evidence, or is that just that's what do you explain for atmospheric lens distortions?
Refraction is a real thing that can happen, but when you can see a city clear in front of you and it's not inverted like a mirage or anything, and it's not wavy and it's really the city, sorry, man, you can't use refraction every time. And for refraction wouldn't be nearly as consistent as what people are seeing. I'm not saying it's consistent every day to day, because there are weather changes, but if the earth was spinning, different climates, making all these motions, the idea that the light would always bend in that same manner, it's ridiculous to me.
Okay.
So my only question is how does that affect you on your everyday life? Like, how do you implement that idea in your everyday life?
How do I implement that idea? Well, first of all, for a lot of people, if they haven't got to that point yet, it should let them know that they're lied to about literally everything. It shows you the whole control grid, how it's a worldwide control grid. It shows you a lot of things, how the whole education system is corrupt, how science, mainstream science, I know you guys love science. I like real science. Real science experiments are fine. The people in the mainstream are all frauds. All the information they're giving you in school and from NASA and space. Come on. Do you guys believe that there's a red convertible in space with the mannequin?
No,
I do. Why wouldn't there be?
I don't.
Come on, man.
I don't.
Come
I
on.
don't.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
No.
Come on, Elon Musk comes on TV and not only tells you there's a red convertible in space, he tells you it's stock and they just threw it up there and it worked. How could you believe that, dude?
Because he also sent 2 people to the ISS. Do you believe
Yeah,
the ISS exists?
The ISS is the biggest treasure trove of media fakery in the
Yeah,
world.
see, I know you didn't believe that it exists, but they
I have
did
a
that.
brain and I've looked at it. It's complete junk.
SpaceX is a private company, not run by the government. They take government funds, but they're not run by the
They
government.
actually they got $5 billion from the government like a year ago. So, they can say that.
Because NASA, the government can't do shit. That's the point. Like the government, I know that they may be lying to us at times, but they can't do shit
They
right.
can't. Government fucking
just
sucks.
cannot do shit right. I want less of it, but why would they lie to us?
I just gave you a bunch of reasons. How about you can start with easy reasons without even getting spiritual or anything? How about money? How about control?
Yes.
Yeah. So and that's where I always go down to. It's if we're again.
How can you join them? Is what I really.
I would say so. So I'm a Christian, so everything to me goes back to the Bible. But when I'm not thinking about like primarily that, how you said the spiritual stuff, to me it is that. It is understanding what it looks like. Well, no, I was gonna say, but it is one of those things when you understand the art of war and when you understand battle, when you understand all these like great warriors of old, and you understand one of the greatest tactics in war is divide and conquer, and they see, okay, how do we do that within a city, within a state, within a country, within whatever it is, and that's what they do within whether it's economic separation, whether it's cultural, gender, or whatever it is. They want to separate you so that you can get in your little pack and you want to point fingers at this person and that person. then you fight against each other while they're in the top laughing. And that's what continues to happen. And it's, I think more people now I'm meeting that are waking up to these things, but it's very surface level. It's more these dumb conspiracy theories of Ellen DeGeneres and Wayfair and all these stupid things, you know. But I see that as a starting point. You know, I like to use that as kind of like a shovel. And okay, well, let me dig a little bit more so you can understand like what's really beneath a lot of this corruption and a lot of this BS that goes on, whether it's in Hollywood, politics, or whatever it is. And so I feel like I'm with you 100%, dude. Like, it's hard for me to even take a lot of mainstream science serious when I know, right, Galileo and all these guys, how they've fucked up in the past and how they've lied in the past and how they've worked with government and different religion things to prop up their agendas. So it's hard, again, and I'm coming from a Christian perspective, knowing how the church and how the state have really messed things up. So when somebody even debates with me about church and state and separation of church and state, I'm like, do you understand England? Do you understand Rome? Do you know any of that? Because before you enter into that conversation with me, you got to understand that history, because that builds so much on how we have governed ourselves as a state today, you know?
Exactly. And mainstream science and mainstream religion, organized religion, have been people think, and I used to make this mistake. I used to talk about the rift between religion and science. It's not even that at all. That's all a facade, because they're working together to keep themselves in between you and the creator. And everything that science does, anything that comes up that might have a spiritual aspect to it, whether it's to do with flat earth, or I talk about other topics like the Mandela effect and these other things that have a spiritual nature to it, it's all going to be science has to poo-poo it, or it has to be CERN, or it has to be an equation, or it has to be we did this with this and that and the other thing, and it's never God. And they come right out and tell you how much they hate God. Neil deGrasse Tyson has done it many times. He's called human beings feces like it was a slip of the tongue. All sorts of crap that they come out with. I've done many videos on all these guys. Joe Rogan, these guys you mentioned. I have a list called Agents Against Humanity, and all these guys are on it because that's what they are. They're agents against humanity. They hate you and they hate your creator. And a big part of the globe lie is to hide the fact of the land that we live and to hide the creator. And there's a lot of passages in there that tell you the earth is not a globe.
So what do we need to make everyone see that? What do we got to do?
I would say, you know, so, and this has kind of been my agenda for the last 5 to 10 years, which has been a palatable beginning to the knowledge of the truth. You know, like, yes, I'm not going to be Alex Jones to somebody, because I know not many people could palate an Alex Jones. So I try to take that kind of, or, you know, not even Alex Jones, but I'm saying, you know, that's the extreme. But just, you know, what people would want to deem controversial or conspiracy theories, you know? So I try to take what I can and, you know, cut that up into bite-sized pieces and talk to that with people, whether it has to do with gender or politics or ethics, because everyone has an ideal that is being hit up against, whether it's economics, they're not making enough money, whether it's politics, they're not running our cities right, whether it's gender, you know, I feel like I'm getting this pushed on me, whether it's the nuclear family. I feel like they're down, you know, they're demeaning us and uplifting right? Everybody has a soft spot. It's just learning what that soft spot is and finding the way to engage in a conversation with them there, and then allowing them to, you know, see what else is out there and other ways that they've been lied. I feel like that's a good beginning. But
then you go into this conversation knowing that people have been lied to, and then they hear that's not something you want to tell people. You don't want to tell them they've been lied to, because then they're gonna put the defense goes up and like, who lied to me? Like,
well, it's not up for me to make someone believe in truth, right? I believe that's up to God to illuminate their minds.
But that's your truth. It's not necessarily a fact. This ain't fucking.
Well, I would disagree from. All right, if we're gonna be
Don fucking Lemon over here.
Well, this is the thing. If we're gonna be talking about experience, right? Like my brother over here is saying, there, right? There's experience is truth, right? We didn't disagree with that. I'm just saying it's hard to just say that. But so many people who I've had experiences with, my wife being one of them, who I've propositioned and said, "Hey, test God out," have yet to say, "Oh, he's not real." That's how I know God is real. Because even me, myself, who was a staunch atheist in the past, have found his way to God by asking God, reveal yourself to me. So if we're going off of just empirical evidence in our lives, then that's how I know this is true. You know what I mean? And I don't like saying my truth, because I don't believe in my truth. I believe there is a truth, and that's it. And we all have to live up to that. You know,
A truth. It's not your truth. It's not the truth.
I have to live up to that standard, whether I like it or not.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with you boys. Unfortunately, I guess we're not gonna get too far with that. I believe the majority of scientists are out to do good and are smart, and we can pick and choose who we believe in science.
Well, we're talking about more mainstream science.
Well, what's mainstream science?
I will let Brian answer that one.
Mainstream science would be any part of the science doctrine that comes through the education systems, the media, the space programs, all these things.
So
That's
See,
mainstream.
well, and I'll say this much, and I tell this my wife. I say this to my wife a lot. Back in the day, what they would call a scientist is a witch doctor, is a witch, is a warlock.
yeah.
Right? When you see a lot of things in the past that was done, people were saying, "Oh, well, that's this and that's that," and they labeled it some sort of necromancy or whatever they want to call it.
It was magic to people.
Yeah, but that's science,
Yeah.
right? So,
science is magic.
right? So, hey, why do right? And I've talked to you about this. How when you read the Old Testament, especially, you see there's a lot of witchcraft and magic and stuff that goes into deceiving the people of Israel. What if you just took the word magic and switched it to science? What if you took a warlock, right, a male witch, and said, "Oh, that's a doctor"? What if you took the word witch and said, "Oh, that's a nurse"?
What if you do woman to individual with the cervix?
Exactly. And it's all right. So the thing is, and this is why I say, yeah, mainstream science, I believe, is corrupted because they control what we hear, right? And when you even think about television, you know, what is the TV? It's there to control your thinking. It's there to manipulate you.
Stephanie on the chat says, "Holy Hispanic, come on over. We got beer and lots of cool people who know the truth."
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. I need more people like that. Jeez. I just feel like it's been hard to find people who do have almost this idea that we have. You know what I mean? Like to not just have this open dialogue, but to be courteous about it, right? Like I'm very open about my faith and about my beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that's just the way it is, and it's hard for people to like coincide that. And so when I meet people who are just like, we just want you to be you, it's like, great. I don't have to worry about being somebody fake. And that's what I feel like the media and the mainstream world wants you to do is to, again, conform to what they want you to do.
All right, we're running out of time here. So a couple more questions and we gotta roll. But
Sure.
Brian, who are you voting for in this upcoming presidential election?
You're kidding me, right?
You're not voting for any of them.
No. It's politics. That's all fake. I'm not saying there's not real politics in your local town, city council.
Yeah.
But the president and all that, those guys are selected. I mean, they're not elected. They're selected. It's a complete show. It's like the WWE, man. The media and the politics, man. You got to get past it. It's complete. It's a whole fake reality that they're presenting to you.
Yeah, I know. It's comforting though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you
No, it's not comforting participating in things that I know are lies. That's why I won't wear the mask to go to the grocery store or anything else.
Hey
you know?
man, I love magic shows. You know, and the magic shows, the guy's constantly lying to me, but you know, I'm being entertained at the same time. So, is that not enough? Like,
Yeah, that's why guys go to strip clubs.
you know, David Copperfield.
They're lying to you, but you're being entertained the whole time.
Yeah, come on, man. Entertainment for being lied to. Come on, man. Well, okay. If you were to guess who's going to be the president that be selected by the Illuminati, who would it be?
I really don't know. I would probably just guess Trump because it seems like they usually go for 2 terms rather than 1. That would be the only reason. They always seem to get reelected.
Who do you like better, Trump or Biden?
I don't like either one of them, honestly. I don't have an opinion. I don't follow it at all to have an opinion. I know Biden's the creepy looking guy and he's always like sniffing up on people. And I know Trump's Trump is a huge polarizing character, but that's exactly what they are. They're characters in a script.
Yep.
What about Tucker Carlson?
A huge media whore, media mogul. Huge media mogul that is on he's on Fox, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Now, I'm not saying every report, again, just like I'm not saying every like with the flat earth stuff, I'm not saying every scientist, every teacher, every pilot's in on it. They're fooled just like everybody else. And for the most part, they're even more indoctrinated into the false belief system. So I don't think that every politician, I don't think that every reporter, like in the whole country, like, it doesn't mean every reporter that works at every local affiliate across the country is a shill. But anybody on Fox News, CNN, these big morning talk shows, any huge morning drive radio shows, these people are all controlled because they have an agenda to get out.
It's
I agree.
interesting, man. Well, Brian Staveley, some passing things here. Do you have anything to plug before we let you go?
I would just like to just my channel. I've done a lot since we last talked. I wasn't even making YouTube videos at that time 2.5 years ago. Now I've made about 700 videos in the last 2 years. I covered this Corona stuff extensively. I also cover the Mandela effect extensively. Obviously, the lies of NASA and other topics.
Obviously.
Well, thank you so much. And what's the name of the YouTube?
Sure. My YouTube channel is the same as my name, Brian Staveley, BrianStaveley. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Brian, it was
Yeah,
a pleasure, brother, man. I really enjoyed this. I knew I was gonna like you.
To keep in touch, man.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you later. And you guys, thank you guys for watching another episode of Emergency Exit Podcast. We're gonna keep going on live here for a few minutes after on Facebook, so you guys can and YouTube. So stay tuned. We're gonna listen to some fun stuff. Anyways, we'll be back next week with a whole new show, whole new attitude, whole new everything. Come on, man. That's just the way we're gonna be doing it here. So
next week, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we got. Well, we'll talk about it. I think we'll still talk about that on this. So for Brandon the Hardhead Mitchell, for David Holy Hispanic Aguilar, I'm Lo saying that's right, and we'll see you guys next week.
I like Brian.
That is right. All right, so we're off on Channel 10, and we're back on YouTube,
and Facebook.
Yeah. So there was Brian.
That was
have a lot.
See, it's hard for me, like it's hard for me to find a place with flat Earth because of where I am. Like, I am a modern man, right? I believe in modern science and all those kind of things, but I'm also somewhat of a medieval man. I read a lot of old literature and I read a lot of old, medieval scholars, and so it's hard for me to piece these two worlds together. Because when you read the medieval world, the medieval outlook on life was that Earth was really like the anus of the atmosphere. Like we're like the emo kid in class that nobody talked to, and the universe is this beautiful dance that's going on, and Earth is nothing in the universe. But modern science has made Earth the center of all the universe, and Earth, and we're this and we're that, and so it's hard for me to, when I read modern science and when I read medieval science, it's hard for me to coincide these two because medieval science has this wonder for the world and modern science just has hatred for man. That's why I don't like it.
Well, I knew you would really dig it. And, I struggled with Flat Earth in the beginning. I mean, Emergency Exit was based off of like us trying to talk about that a lot. But he talks about, I keep bringing up the South Star because that's my definitive evidence. But then they go, well, what are the stars? What are this? But like the stars are things of gas out there, right? And we happen to spin around them. But then they go about they could be giant balls of gas. They could be either way. It's a mass of something, and it's reflecting light.
It's even hard for me. I'm a big C.S. Lewis fan.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing he talks about in one of his books is stars almost being real, right? And so one of his books, he has a conversation between this kid and a star, and the kid's talking to the star, and the kid is like, "What are you?" And the star is, "I'm a star." And the kid's like, "Oh, in our world, you're just a big ball of gas and fire." And then the star's like, "Well, in your world, you're just water," right? So if you were to look at us scientifically, we're just water and meat. That's all we are.
Sure.
But right, so when you look at stars scientifically, they're just gas and rock. But maybe they could be something more. They could be what the Bible says, angelic beings.
Stars are sentient beings. Somebody said on the chat there. I didn't realize we had so many people that wanted to talk about
Yeah.
Flat
Stars,
Earth there. But
stars
hey,
could be
the
sentient
number's
beings.
down there. Give us a call. We're still live. If you're watching this live, we're talking live. Let's go. Let's play that video.
Oh yeah, what happened to B?
I wanted to play B sharp.
B
here.
sharp. B sharp.
Yeah, we'll go to the B sharp. But first, I want you to look up the lyrics for a song called WAP. W-A-P. Not WAB. That's what we used to call Mexicans back home.
Oh, like wetbags?
Yeah, WABs. Whipbacks.
So the lyrics for it?
Yeah. And then I want you to read them because this thing went around with Ben Shapiro. Oh, he's got it right up here. So there you
Okay,
go.
WAP lyrics.
He's got it up there too if you want to read them.
Okay.
All right. So this is David. Spoken language. Spoken
Wait,
poetry.
how do I read it?
Spoken poetry, man.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
Hold up.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P. Make that pull out game weak.
You can say pussy.
Can I? I feel weird saying that.
You feel weird, huh?
You go next. You do the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet ass.
Oh, hold
pussy.
up. Hey, beat it up, nigga. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard.
Oh boy.
Put this pussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top and ride it. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth and look in my eyes. This pussy is wet. Come take a dive.
Hey man, it's beautiful work.
How is this an actual song?
It's an actual. I've never heard the actual song, and we're not gonna play it.
I'm sorry about that for our YouTube and Facebook listeners. That was I've never heard this song ever.
Yeah. Well, Ben Shapiro.
This is so sad that
has
this is
some
a real one.
has some problems with the song itself. He thinks, this is what
Hold up. So
you got some.
esoteric Eric said, "What happened to keeping it PG?" Hey, we already went off of the 10 o'clock at 10, so this is the fun time. So give us a call and let us know what is on your mind. I mean, let's go there with it.
Well, one of my favorite guys to get news from is Ben Shapiro. I'm sure the viewers out there that aren't into the mainstream media, I guess, would call Ben Shapiro mainstream media, I guess, at this point. But he's appalled by this song.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to read the lyrics.
I mean, he is a Jew.
And he's very dry when he reads the lyrics. But some hero.
Ooh, so I gave him more flavor.
Some hero, yes, made a remix with his voice. So go ahead.
Lyrics, you ready?
I'm Marquis.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pull out game weak.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, you effing with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up and catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Wipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top.
He
I wanna
had to
fry.
know
Bag
that
you a
this was
Kegel
gonna
while it's
happen.
inside. Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. This P word is wet. Come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar. Talk your S word, bite your lip, ask for a call while you ride that P word. You really ain't never gonna F him for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots and your coat for this wet ass P word. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet ass P word. Right, so this is, guys, this is what feminists fought for. This is what the feminist movement was all about.
Oh, no, he didn't. Miss Peaches?
Can I just say I agree with what he just said? Like, it's so sad that this is what feminists are rooting for. Like, this is where feminists is like, yes, this is our crown achievement. This is exactly what we wanted. Was for these two women who are genetically enhanced or modified with plastics, which I think is just a way to get us in, like, culturally into accepting drag queens and transgender people. But I'm not
Yeah.
even getting into that. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know if you
yeah,
want to get
yeah.
in that. I feel like that's what they're trying to do with the overemphasizing of the breasts and the butt and the everything fake, and what they're trying to do is like, oh yeah, like, hey, you can't tell the difference between you know, what's her name, Kanye's wife, Kim Kardashian and Caitlyn Jenner, so you'll bang both of them. Yeah, I feel like all this is just desensitizing people and getting us used to this new norm, not just with the COVID stuff, not just with the mask, but with gender and all this stuff that's going on now. It's so, like, crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, P word.
P word, bro. P word.
Man.
Look.
Let's see. Well, we still got lots of people like saying things on here. Let's see. Ben, Ben Shapiro is not liked by Owen Benjamin. We
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
but
Owen
yeah.
Benjamin on the past here. Yeah, he started going on this whole like moon landing is a hoax thing, and the whole
Shout out Scotland real quick.
Scotland.
You know,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
there's I get the whole not trusting NASA, but at some point that only goes so far. Like NASA is
See, again, going back to C.S. Lewis, one thing that C.S. Lewis said in one of his books was, it's okay to see past the thing, right? If there's a window, right? You have a window and it's made to look past. But if you look past everything, right? If you see the bullshit through everything, right? You see the bullshit through NASA and the government and this and that, right? If you're always trying to look past everything, you're never seeing the thing in front of you, right? If you're looking past the window, looking past the flowers, looking past the trees, like you're blind pretty much. You cannot see because you see through everything. Therefore, you cannot see. You know what I mean? So one thing Lewis says is you need to know when a window is a window and when a flower is a flower. You need to know when something is meant to look through and something is meant to look at. And I think that's where we forget in our society. Yeah, there's a lot of things like NASA, the government, politics, Biden, a lot of things that I think they're meant to look through. But then I do believe there's things like, you know, the church and other stuff, institutions that they're meant to look at and model them and say these are good pillars of what life and humanity ought to be like. You know?
preach, bro. Preach, bro. Well, we got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. But listen, thank you guys for watching. We have
Muchas gracias.
Not much else to say that except that song was off the chain, and I can't wait to hear more Ben Shapiro
I know.
rap songs.
That dude could spit some fire.
Y'all are woke folk out there. You know, I'm gonna stay a sheep for now.
Sheep.
I'm gonna stay a sheep. I know we got a lot of people out there watching that just not happy with me.
Really?
Yeah, there's some you know, I don't know if anyone is calling me a bitch or nothing.
Oh, yeah, bro. You ain't no
but they're
bitch.
like, you know, this guy fucking I just don't have I just can't go through them all here. We just have tons of fucking comments.
Thank you, people. Yeah, but I mean,
Actually, look into it. I do look into it. I did. That's why the show started. But we talked to a bunch of flat earthers, and the evidence is there that there's nothing to doubt NASA about now. I mean, they may have some alternate things why they lie so much. I don't know if they lie, but it took a private company like SpaceX to send somebody up there, a manned
I
rocket that's
just
ready to
always
go.
found it odd that NASA stopped sending people to the moon after we got to the moon.
Why did we need to go up there?
So, do you want to know why?
No, I don't. I really don't. We need to get out of here.
I can tell you why.
And you know, just knowing about the South Star, that tells me alone that we're spinning. Both sides are spinning, which means that we're on a ball. We're on a round globular Earth. Globular
I like that word.
Earth. What else could it be? It's not projections of things up on there. They will change over time. Those the ones we see over time, we'll see different stars over time, but we won't see them in our lifetime because it happens over. Really, you have to know that, or at least science tells us.
I still
that
have yet to land on the side.
The Earth is very, very old.
It is
Very,
old.
very, very, very old, and
Thousands of years old.
you know there are literally scientists can disagree on things, you know, but what they all do agree on is that the Earth is round.
Now,
Now, Yeah. But I know that, it's still a new concept.
Yeah.
But, new concepts are, the iPhone 10 came out, and that's pretty fucking sick, right?
But then what happens when that becomes obsolete?
Well, even those
And now it's like embedded in your skin. And it's like, remember when we believed the iPhone was going to be a thing? We were so dumb back then.
Somebody wants us to go to the channel Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. We had David Weiss on this show.
Ooh, is that a thing? Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole?
Yeah, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. I used to listen to the podcast, and then the podcast ended, and then I tried to keep up with Mike Cannon and David Weiss, and just the whole thing, conspiracy theory thing is just exhausting, man. So goddamn
There's
exhausting.
so much. There's so much.
I get behind some of it. Bohemian Grove, I get it. The pedophiles and the fucking pedophile island, get it. But NASA's lying to you? I don't get it. I don't get it because it takes one NASA employee to come out there and say they're going to kill me if I say this, but I'm going to say this and protect me if I die or whatever. Hillary Clinton, will put a gun to my head. We never went to the moon.
Astronauts have been kept from saying what they've actually seen in space.
Yeah, but that's like alien stuff.
Yeah,
not
so
like moon stuff.
I know. So if you think they'll lie about aliens, you don't think they'll tell them to lie about moon
Dude,
stuff?
aliens too. What if there's aliens? That means that there's space.
So and this is the only reason I give any credence to certain conspiracy theories is only because if I know that they will lie to me about this much, I know they're going to lie to me about that much. And so with NASA, I know they have quieted people for a reason. So even like Fauci, the way you question Fauci, hey, if he lied about the mask this one time, hey,
Right.
like other things are put into place. Same thing with NASA. Not saying that they completely lie, because I believe there's good people there, but to take them as an ultimate or like, oh yeah, they never lie. I can't go that far.
They're saying you're pretty much there.
Me?
Yeah, they're saying you're pretty much there. You're one of them. One of them.
Look, I'll say this much, man. If I'm anywhere, it's only because of the Bible. That's all I read and that's all I really study. Everything else is kind of through osmosis. So anything that I get that is that knowledge that I'm there, it's all scripture and all Bible.
Show me the curve, bearded dude. You don't believe the sources that come at you. So like you pick and choose which one that you want to believe in, and you come at me. I mean, NASA's taking a full picture of the fucking Earth. It's taking a full picture of the Earth now. And if you don't want to believe NASA, we're running around here. NASA,
Yeah,
does
I agree.
Amazing things.
Yeah.
For this place that we call Earth. A lot of technology we use today was developed by NASA.
See, like the other day, my wife and I were watching photos from Mars,
Yeah.
like 4K photos from Mars, and like the rover or whatever. And my wife was like, "Man, that's so beautiful." And all I could think in my head was, if those are real, I wonder how they edited them. I'm sure that's not what Mars looks like.
Well, okay, so that's another thing. They say, this guy said, oh, yeah, NASA photos are CGI'd because they have to be, right? Well, yeah, because they get tons of photos together. They take those photos and arrange them in a mosaic that's in line to where their panoramic was. It's not like, oh, I'm going to put this here. Sometimes they'll put, sometimes they'll put some extra clouds on it. But the actual photo itself is from Mars or from the Earth itself.
A part of me thinks they edit out
China's taking a picture of the Earth in its entirety. China. Why would China?
That's not a good argument.
Why would we
China
want
just gave us
to
COVID.
agree with China on anything? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Well, and again, it's like that's where you could spiral down the argument. That's the hard part.
China has also taken pictures of the moon surface and shown that you could see the stuff that they did while they were up there.
Well,
But
again,
we never went there, wouldn't China want to be like the first ones to go up there and be like,
no.
hey, we got this up here? And
So you want me to tell you why?
Why?
No, because again, like my friend Brian was saying, they don't care about us. They care about manipulating us into what they want us to believe. So if they want us to believe this is the way the moon looks, then all the top scientists are going to be in agreement. Even if China and the US are at war, that's the way they want to make it seem. They want to make it seem, oh, China and the US are at war, but look, everybody's taking a picture of the moon and it all looks the same. No, they're just keeping with the narrative. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. It's like that's where I can go. I have to stop sometimes. Like I was telling Brian, like there's times where I have to come to a point where I'm like, I can't go any deeper because I know how crazy I would get.
But there's no. I get the getting on conspiracy theories that make sense. Like 9/11 may be an inside job, right?
That
What
was another
about
big one.
fucking this and that? Whatever. The point is that there's a lot about NASA that you can be behind, but discounting everything about NASA just because it doesn't fit the narrative that y'all want for flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that flat Earth Netflix movie comes out, they did the laser test, and the laser test where the laser was supposed to be right here, but it was above, showed that they were they did curve. The curvature that you can see if you were in I think Mythbusters did one where he can see the curvature. It's like we won't be able to see that much of a curvature because we're so small and the Earth is so vast. It's so big, but we can't. We're trying to pretend to look at it in such a small fashion. The Earth travels fucking 1,000 miles an hour. Why aren't we flying off of it? 1,000 miles an hour from an outside observer in space. For us, it's 0, and we're part of that rotation, and it's not spinning at 1,000 miles an hour here on Earth. It's 1,000 miles an hour up there.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I always go to. Look, I don't know that. Right? Like I'm not going to say, oh, because of this and that, that's why I believe in this, right? I know I believe in the Bible, so I'm going to do what the Bible says and I'll live that way. But when it comes to the curvature and the flat earth and the science and all that, I 100% do not believe a lot of mainstream science. I just can't because I know how much they've lied to us in the past. I know how much of the medicinal, area of the government has lied to us for the sake of money. I know how they've gone to Africa, gone to China, have done so many things for the sake of science, but it's really money. So it's hard for me to say science is the ultimate good or truth when I've seen the trail of debris they left in the past, right? And the hard part is people could say the same thing about religion, but my biggest argument is the ethic of it, right? A scientist cannot argue his ethic at all, especially if he's an atheist scientist. There's no way he can do that.
Okay.
At least I can hold the Catholic Church and the religious people to an ethic and a standard they're not living up to. I can't do that with a scientist. A scientist can argue his way out of anything because the science explains his way out. To me, I'm bound by the Bible, so I can't explain my way out because I do what it says, and when I don't do it, then I didn't do it. So the biggest thing for me is scientists, it's hard for them to say, oh, this is good and this is bad, because if the science takes them there, the ethic doesn't matter. They're pragmatists. They go where the science takes them, even if it means slaughtering people, lying to people, and doing this and that to people for the benefit of science.
Well, maybe that's what it is about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe Fauci is a good guy for having to lie to us.
Well, and the thing is, and one thing I was going to say,
he had to do that.
Especially when you have an atheistic worldview, which our scientific education and establishment has been based on, when you have a scientific idea, what scientists believe is that the earth is going to pass away. So if we want humankind to continue to produce itself, then we have to go to other planets. So that's why we went to the moon, so we can go to Mars, so that we can inhabit Mars, so that we can build a civilization on Mars, so that when Earth passes away, we have life on Mars. And then when Mars passes away, we go to Jupiter. And then from there, humanity, or science, because it's atheistically based, wants to keep the human race alive, because once it dies, it doesn't know what happens. For the Christian or for the religious person, we're not afraid of death because it's like we know where we're going. So scientists want to propagate science for the next generation, the next planet, the
what
next
if a
Earth.
scientist way back when gave people the Bible and told people that this is the way it is?
Well, it depends. Was he a scientist under Jesus? Because when you look at Luke was a physician, therefore a scientist.
A physician? He was just a regular old doctor?
Well, Luke was someone who was like a scribe, like wrote down, was kind of like, Luke wrote Luke and Acts for Theophilus, and he wrote it in a way to kind of tell him what happened through the gospel. So he was a physician, and he was almost like a journalist. So he was almost like a scientist who was telling people what was going on.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So much to learn. So little time here. Look into Flat Earth, Holy Hispanic. You're almost there. Check out Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, Globebusters, Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, Zodiac Clock channel. Yeah, check them all.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of that before I forget it.
Yeah, they want you to join them on their side.
Man, I'm only on Jesus' side, man. So if you're on that side, then we're already rolling together.
Fauci gives Hitler hand jobs. Yeah, that's right.
Does he really? I believe it.
Yeah, somebody said that.
I don't believe
there.
Bin Laden's dead. Do you believe Bin Laden's dead?
No, I don't know. We were definitely told he was, but who knows if he actually is? I doubt it. But what does that change in your life right now? Believing that the Earth would be flat.
Oh, it doesn't change anything. That's why. That's why I haven't landed on a point. For me, it's like I believe that God created the world, and that's good enough for me. However, He created it, He has hidden that from me, and so I'm living in almost like a happy ignorance. Like, hey, that's what you made those smart people for. I'm gonna trust that you will allow them to guide right. So the thing about Brian and I'm pretty sure a lot of these people in the comments are gonna hate me for this, but the thing about Brian and other people like that is I don't care about either what the scientists say or the flat earthers say. I only care about what God says. So I'm only gonna go by that. So even when they're like, we want you on our side or you're not, I'm like, I don't want to go on your side if the Bible doesn't go there. If the Bible doesn't go on your side, I cannot go there, and I will not go there. So that's why, I was saying this to a friend of mine. Like, I get it from every sides. I get the hate from every side because I get it from the atheists, the Christians, the Mexicans, the whites, the blacks. I get it from the young, the old. I get it from this because I don't stand on anybody's side. I only stand on the Bible. And so I'm always pissing people off, but at the same time, that's why I like debating so much.
Yep, there you go. What else we got in here?
But to all my flat earthers,
all your flat earthers.
Yeah, let me know any information. Like, I love to learn whether I'm right or wrong. I like knowing more about the topic that I'm talking about just because I like to engage people that way.
Flat Earth is down with the Bible. It says it in the Bible. Well, it doesn't like say
it talks about certain things like that, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have satellites and things like ISS in the sky. And
But see, now there's a term that C.S. Lewis coined called chronological snobbery. Now what you're saying is because we have advancing technology that makes us better than the people in the past.
No, it doesn't make us better. We're just evolved from
Yeah, but you're saying now
we're better off.
But you're saying well, now we know better. Yeah. Right? Now we know that we live in a round earth and not a flat, but who is to say that again this isn't just a magic trick? They're pulling the wool over our eyes.
There's nothing to gain to say that the Earth is flat and versus that it's round. It doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter at the end. Like, it's not like saving anybody from money. It's not giving anybody money. Like, what the fuck is this whole thing like about the flat Earth? Who gives a shit? Like, there is evidence that we live on a spinning fucking globe, but they don't want to accept that evidence. The evidence of the South Star is enough for everybody. It should be. I don't understand.
I just try to accept both people, whether you believe it in flat Earth or around Earth. As long as you like to sit down and have some cigars and drink some whiskey, I'm cool with you.
I get it. But the South Star.
But the fucking South Star.
Fucking South Star.
I feel you.
Let's see. Why would you trust science, bearded man? Look at the pharmaceutical industry designed to keep. Yeah, some people fucking. They take science.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
They use it for evil. Science is still good. Let's see, Brian Staveley. I am just on the side of truth, where truth. I am just on the side of truth, where truth takes me. I can't read his thing very well. Clearly, NASA is full of crap. Email me, bro. I'll hook you up. Jesus, Murphy. You guys, we've got our koozies available on Teespring. We'll put the link down there so you guys can check it out. Really wish you guys really good time. Like, man, this whole fucking flat earth thing doesn't perturb me. I don't care about it. We can move on from there and do some real hoaxes, some real things that are out there, man. And we'll get to it. We've got the Brew World Order coming up with the Tournament of Beers very soon. And let's see here. Let's read. We just had so many fucking... so many comments. I just don't know what to do with there. Thanks for subbing. Don't forget to subscribe to us, and maybe you'll convince me to move over. Matter of fact, if you see that right there in our in the name of the podcast, that's the Flat Earth. That's the AE map right there, and the AE map is your guys' best written interpretation of the Flat Earth right now. I think they've probably changed their mind in the last couple of years. Really haven't. The evidence, dude. What evidence, dude? We don't want the evidence of the South Star is enough for me, man. And it's not the South Star itself; it's the act that the stars revolve around that star. So, the Earth is round. That's how you. Yeah. That's how you know.
I like at the end of the day.
Turn them back on there.
Oh yeah, sorry. At the end of the day, I'm not a scientist. That's where I kind of like stop. I'm like, it doesn't matter how much I read on the internet or how much I study here and there. Like, I'm not a scientist, and I fully do not understand that. And like I said, that's where I always end up just saying, well, good thing God to take care of that. And then I just walk around in my merry old way, and I'm happy. So, yeah. And I agree with what you said, how you said, at the end of the day, I think for the everyday person, the reason that they don't accept the flat earth is primarily because it's tied to the conspiracy. And because of that, they shun it away. I think to engage it more in a friendship way and just kind of like soften the blow would be good. But yeah, I don't see it affecting the majority of people on their everyday lives. I wish more people could at least engage in the dialogue of the topic rather than just kind of like, oh, you're one of those.
I'd like to think that I believe in everything you guys talk about. I get it. What I'm trying to do is live in the world so that I can make the money, so I can buy the stuff to live out in the boonies, in nowhere, and be totally self-sufficient, so I can get off the goddamn grid already.
I'm with you on that.
I would love to do that, but you can't do that right now. I don't have you got to buy the property.
Yeah,
you got to live by their rules, the rules that they set because they came before us.
See, but then that's where for me, I'm just like, I mean, I don't live for all of that. Like, the other day I had somebody hit me up and they're like, hey, I want you to do this and that. And they were talking to me about money. And I was just like, I don't really care about money, man. Like, let's just, because I believe, right, this is why I have this tattooed on me, this bird. There's a scripture in Matthew 5 that when Jesus is talking to the crowd, he says, look at the birds of the air. Like, they neither spin or they don't go out and hunt for food, but God provides food for them. And then he says, look at the flowers of the field. They don't spin or toil, but they're clothed better than Solomon, right? They have finer silk than Solomon, which was the greatest king of Israel. So I believe that God will provide for me whatever he wills to provide for me. I'm just called to be happy and express his love to people. And as long as I do that, he'll bless me. So that's why, like, all this stuff, I'm just kind of like, I'll let God take care of that. Like, I just got to focus on what he's told me to do, which is share his love and spread his word. That's it. Everything else, he takes care of. Whether it's my wife, whether it's my job, whether it's my whatever it is, like, you take care of all of that. I'm just going to do what you told me to do, like a bird. I'm going to be a bird. I'm going to go fly and do my thing. And whenever the food comes, you just tell me to come eat. And that's that.
Well done. Well said. We got to go. We said we'd go a long time ago.
I know, right? For real.
You guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. We're on Facebook. If you guys want a koozie, hit us up. We'll send you guys one.
Ooh, koozies.
Also, we got our Teespring, so you can get our emergency exit T-shirts or masks. Yes, you can get a mask from us.
Masks.
I know how you all feel about masks out there. All of a sudden, we have nothing but flat earthers and science deniers and climate deniers.
We have some cool people on here. I'm like looking back. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week. And so for Brandon the Hardhead Mitchell, for David Aguilar, I'm Lo saying, that's right.
There you go.